Let's get right into it. All right, this is a medium big one. Is there anyone I'm remotely concerned about with immunities or anything? Civil Warrior can stop certain kinds of things, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that down there. But generally, this looks pretty straightforward. Evening, y'all. All right, let's go ahead. I don't know why I dropped my block there, but it has been legitimately nice um, to have his reversal as a safety net in here. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do player surveys for towers. Seems very possible. But I haven't seen any references to it. I don't know what Jane was doing there. And then I slow played it there, and she actually just went for it. Whatever. There it is. It always takes a minute for OBS to finally decide that I need to hit the refresh button on my combined chat. Hey, Kurt. I think it's the first time that a message comes from both of them. Hey, Jason. Because I think it was perfectly timed with Kurt's second message there. Love to see synergies. I don't think we're going to be doing that. Like, it's not really the purpose, but also how would that work on a floor with 20 or 30 synergies? Or 20 or 30 spots? Like, I know players love to say things like, "Oh, I would love to see like all of Hulk's synergies," but like that doesn't mean we want to design around that.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure that I share your enthusiasm there.
Yeah, like I'm trying to give the idea its due and think through it, but I think towers may just not be the forum for it. Yes, this is all permanent content. You don't have to do anything this week. That was my fault. They keep your progression. This is all permanent content. Hitmonkey's challenge rating is silly there. I don't think I agree, Jonathan. Actually, no. The more I think about it, the more I disagree. Because, like, it's enough of a concern to get 20 or 30 champs of a specific class at a level where they can deal to damage and get through these fights. Balancing those fights around having 20 or 30 characters that have, like, frequent access to power drain or something does not sound like an improvement to me. I think the repetitiveness part, just in general, feels. 1 second. I want to. Thank you. There we go. I think the repetitiveness part right now feels like a bad thing because we're doing the big grind. I don't think. Oh, you jerk. I don't think it's going to feel like a bad thing as we go, right? It's going to eventually feel like a cool, I know what towers feel like. I can rank this person in and I have an idea of what to do, right? Put another way, today's monotony is going to be tomorrow's predictability. And I think that's pretty important. Yeah, the Saga Towers are not permanent. It is indeed. Welcome.
Thanks for the follow. Welcome, Jude.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Nice, dude. I'm still waiting to hear back on mine. Oh, thanks for the sub. I just thought that was a follow. But double thanks again. I really appreciate that. Halfway to the next goal.
Much appreciated.
Hey, Jason, how's it going? I think champs like Cyclops are going to do some crazy numbers. Yeah, I do think that, like, obviously Towers is timed content. And I personally do still want us to see some content that's built around fights longer than 1 minute. Because I do enjoy some of those. But one thing I really like about Towers, even though it is short time-based content, is that because health doesn't matter and because it's not competitive, you just win or you don't. There's no incentive to, like, get 35-second kills, right? If somebody can reliably do the damage in 50 seconds or 55 seconds or even 60 seconds, as long as they throw a couple specials, that's plenty.
And I think that's going to really help some characters that have a little bit more trouble shining in battlegrounds, but do legitimately have good damage.
Kind of depends on what you mean by troublesome. Punching up 10 is pretty doable if you are playing well. Punching up 20 starts to get harder, but if you're running recoil or something, it's still, I think, quite doable based on my memory. Punching up 30 is where it starts to get actually difficult. And 50 is where you do 0 damage. I've seen that a lot, Go Boy, but I think that's just kind of a calibration thing. A lot of people in this community are used to things like Necropolis or something, and this just isn't that, right? This isn't seasonal content. This is like permanent background bones of the game. We'll have to grind now, but then it'll be there in the background, something for us to continue working on just in little bits and pieces. And for new players, it's going to be this giant climb that helps inform all of their roster decisions. And I think it is an actively good thing that it is so consistent that we didn't try and make it interesting by doing a boss, right? Plus, if you want to be like technical about it, there kind of is that boss thing because every time there's one of those rooms with only 4 or one of those blocks with only 4, that that's real. That's where I've seen a lot of people run into trouble. Are you running recoils when you say that easy? Yeah, I've also been playing for a very long time. I get you. I get you, Kurd. I tend to enjoy most things put in front of me in this game, too. Hey, Bleezy. How long have you been playing, Egg? First appearance and Ascension are not the same thing, Jude. I do have Ascended Blue Marvel. Whoops, that hurt. Wrong button. I do not have first appearance Blue Marvel. I wish I did. I was really impressed with M'Baku and Towers because damage scaling. Yeah, he fills up immediately. Ouch. One and a half? Yeah, that is not a long time. I'm glad you seem to be enjoying it. No recoil. Yeah. 20 is the limit with no recoil, makes sense. Also, to answer the earlier question, no. I did a lot of playtesting for this mode. But I was not attached to it for design. I really thought the combo had reset there and that we weren't going to throw our medium too. One of my least favorite things in this game. No, they are not obtained the same way. You get Ascension just for pulling the champion from their Grace Crystals. You get First Appearance for doing it with pure luck. I just opened enough crystals to get Blue Marble Ascended. Agreed, Kurt. I like the reason to use more champs. Nah, no worries, I get it. Just like I said, they're two different things. For the first time in a long time, I felt like my roster was a bit underpowered. That's probably a good thing. Hey, Hogan. It's your Friday today. Nice. I'm probably going to take a bit of a half day tomorrow. Since we technically have the day off. I tend to take the Canadian holidays, but I sometimes do the US ones. Yeah, I'll probably just take off in the afternoon. But I am very much looking forward to my Magic the Gathering pre-release on Saturday. I mean, the thing to remember about M'Baku's Fury is that it's not meant to be a massive damage scaler, right? It's not like, now I do double damage. It's more of a placeholder, really. It's like, okay, I've got my Fury up. I hit a little bit harder, but the important thing is that while I have this Fury up, other things happen. Hey, Jack. Welcome. $12 at 240. Okay, this is a little bit bigger. Punching up on a few of these. Correct, Jude. No, thank you, Cat. Still need to do both of the others. Ooh, I thought I saw it flash. That's not very cool. Ouch. Sometimes Frank just does not go unstoppable as fast as you want him to. That's fine, I'll just use the crushed. Carol! Hey, Bitter, how's it going, man? Oh, come on. Hey, Sam, thanks for the raid, man. Hope you had a good run.
I was watching Sim stream earlier, and then I went to Milkshake Factory, bide some time. This is overkill, but I finally get to do the full Lumitrix thing here. Welcome, everybody. I missed the Deadpool shenanigans? I guess so, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Did the factory bring all the boys to the yard? Oh, Dilly. Milkshake Factory is an excellent chain in Pennsylvania and now in Texas. I am not really a milkshakes person, but theirs are so good. Gore. Sorry. Oh. For your mutant tower or just for giggles? Yes. I very much enjoy that, dude. Like that is actually one of my favorite things about towers is I am not somebody who uses the recoil masteries. And I have sorry to any raiders who don't want to hear me say this, but I have in the past thrown shade at people who think that it is their right to never turn masteries with trade-offs off. But all that said, I very much like that there is a game mode where you don't have to worry about special threes. Therefore, you don't really have to worry about special baiting at all. You can use recoils, and it's a completely different dynamic than any of the other game modes. Yes, just the class towers, correct. But those are the permanent ones, and that is what I'm talking about. That's annoying, but yeah. And he called me Bucko and then bitter unsubbed. What is rating? It means that Sim is done streaming and Twitch has a nice little mechanism for him to just bring y'all over here, and hopefully you enjoy this stream too. I think I have enough of a CR advantage here that I don't need another special one, but let's see. Yeah, that's plenty. Special threes are not active in the glass tower sim, though. I took recoil off a few years back. Probably never use them again aside from towers. I mean, I've kept setup as one of my three, both for like the very rare battlegrounds meta and more often for certain war fights where they make sense. But yeah, they're just not my default. But it's fun here.
I thought I was just getting super lucky. Man, I keep pushing them to exactly 2.99 bars of power. This is awesome. That's excellent. The Deadpool rank up makes sense now. Oof, that's harsh. Ah, I shouldn't have tried to dex out of him. It is what it is. Hard blocked. Where'd you get to, Safa? I'm assuming it's a pretty large number. Yeah, Liquid Courage and Double Edge are the important masteries for the most part. I just refer to all of them as recoil because recoil tree is a little bit more effort to say, and I don't like the other names for them. 93, 92, nice. I am okay with ouchies, but it has always felt just a wee bit juvenile. Okay, Dad. Okay. Some big ones. Somebody's going to be punching up. You've been doing well. You should be fine. Yeah, that should be okay. Uh-oh, Okoye shocks are only doing 4-digit numbers. Send help. That's cool, Cat. If you think Okoye is one of the reasonable ones, Easy, you might have an interesting definition of reasonable. Love Limitrix.
Really tempted to R5 Danny. Do we think we'd assign? There are definitely some places. I have wanted to assign her before to some fights and just felt like people generally weren't comfortable with her outside of like a prestige rank, and so just didn't want to risk it. But she's got uses. Whoops.
Mr. Knight punches up well. That's interesting. Mine, I was not having a great time with mine, but that was still in the lower floors. So I don't think I ever really got him online.
And I shouldn't be surprised because once you get him going, he's insane. It's been really fun to have Korg just be a truck. Blam, blam, blam.
If you sub to the officers.
Yeah, didn't insta kill that time. Have to actually wait out the bleeds. Okay, hopefully this one isn't a mistake. I haven't really done the Jabari against bleed immune thing that much. Oh, it's just science, isn't it? That's right. Okay, that's fine. Well, hopefully her being an A2 is enough.
All right, good time to learn that. Relearn that. More than one, less than 5.
Okay, these are getting real. Okay, kill him with fire. The rest of these seem fine. That's funny, Jack. Tim, are you familiar with the Shen Comics meme about the power of friendship? I'll have to find it later. If you don't already know what I'm talking about, I don't want to ruin the punchline. Infuriate is a lie. Carol. That was gross. Correct, Dante. 2 every week until we're done. Or until they're all out. Ooh, that was evil. That was also evil. Not cool, bro. Jonathan. Stimula's username and what it's referencing are both a lot older than the 6-7 meme. I'm only at 75, but already freaking out about wasting time. Yeah, man. Well, then I'm going to tell you what was news to Sim a second ago. Um, did you know that you don't have to bait specials? They don't have special threes. Yeah, that was my friend. Say I can special intercept way better than I can. Then you got to block bait. You can't be running at them. Don't go back and watch my Thor fight. Do as I say, not as I do.
Okay, that was overkill, but I needed to practice. Dick Arrows fan. And an instant ramped Moondragon, that was fun. That was cool. Simula is not a grandparent, no. Don't need to do anything fancy. See, I don't fully agree with that. Like, yes, you can block specials if the alternative is just um, being dumb and finishing at full health. But doing fancy things is what gets you through some of those blocks that you have trouble with. I should not have put Cheoth here. Like, if this were a harder block, then that would not be a good move. Because she does not handle those heavy punishes very well against her. Just. I get what you mean. Block specials for the tiny bit of extra combat power. If that is what makes sense. Maybe cheese reach should be higher than. Yeah, that's the takeaway. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Overkill again. Good to be in the habit. It's a great hammer, Jack. It's definitely not an axe. It's a pole arm. Whew, that would have been a dumb way to die. So many dumb ways to die. All right. Yes, you do, Cyber. Lumitrix is incredible. I have to do war defense to swap in 4 players. Ugh. Sounds like some off-season nonsense. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Jude. Cyclops is one of those people where his rotation is good enough to kill in battlegrounds, but not fast enough to be exceptional. But in towers, if all you have to beat is the clock and not your opponent, he looks pretty darn good. I really need to be starting the Patriot fights with a heavy. I'm wasting time. Yeah, this is where I get more upset about missing Stellar Star-Lord's Ascension. I was just busy. The drops are on, Spartan. I've had some people say that the commands aren't working for them, but they're on. All right, we're on the last one of each one, but still got some more to do. Ooh, okay, it's getting big. All right, problems. Civil Warrior. Kind of Angela. Those are the big ones. Thanks, Sim. Also, not the best choice of words, Samael.
Depends on the champion and how aggressive you are, easy, but I think it gives you another 10, 15, maybe 20. Because it also depends on how much the champion you're looking at responds to attack mods, right? If they already have giant furies, it's not really going to help you. Low cuddle. Thanks for the follow. I like being able to do the full bullseye rotation as well. That wasn't even the full one, but he really shines in here. Yeah, Mantis is a good illustration of the point that I made. Because she has such large furies, recoil doesn't actually do that much for her. People use her with them because it extends her reach, but it doesn't extend her reach a lot. What do I do at Kabam? I'm a champion designer. Out of the ones you're seeing here, the Black Panther Civil War that we just did, that was my work, the rework for him. Frank. Are drops ever coming back? I mean, it hasn't been a full week since the last ones, right? They've historically reset on Fridays. There was a set last Friday. I don't have any reason to expect that there won't be another one this Friday, but it ain't Friday yet. I am not the one that made Dark Phoenix. Although, if that bothers you, I did make Photon and Serpent.
Okay, fair enough. And I respect that take. I know they're tough, but I'm proud of them. There are realm event points in the drops starting tomorrow. Okay. After the live stream, I never got drops again. What do you mean by after the live stream? I'm gonna have to ask you to narrow it down because there have been a few. Please do not behind a paywall. Yeah, although in fairness to the designer of Dark Phoenix, that part wasn't his choice. And that's not me saying that it's like the big bad monetization team or anything either, right? Like, we're trying things to make this game sustainable and try and make money while keeping it fun, and there's a lot of layers to that challenge, but if you have issues with Dark Phoenix, I wouldn't hold the sales structure against her. Or I wouldn't hold the sales structure against her design. Sorry, that's what I meant. There we go. She can be kind of annoying to line up elimination right as you cross 50% there. Something, something bad word serpent. Yeah. Cat gives me plenty of grief for my most famous son. Yeah, I do think it fairly reliably gets you 10 points easy. Carol? Buenas noches. Bienvenidos. Since the release, Bullseye, State of AW has changed quite a bit. It's much more interesting to see players use more champs. Problem only persists with me in BGs. I get what you mean. That is part of why I really enjoyed the 40 card deck experiment, because I felt like it left significantly more room for kind of specialist picks. But yeah, there is more innovation necessary in BGs, is what I'll say there. Excuse me. Nope. Almost got hit. Nico is unreasonably tanky. Nah. Blood magic makes you tough. He's been through a lot. Isn't your handle like a famous usurper or something, Bitter? From a long line of fictional incestuous tyrants? I mean, in fairness to them, Jonathan, like, because she converts her adrenaline back, it is kind of that full. But that's why she's vulnerable to special or to power control, right? If you're able to control or reverse her power gain, then she throws fewer specials and you have less of that particular problem. Her Archangel can stop her healing. Well, it's technically not healing. I understand that's pedantic, but it does matter here. But yes, her adrenaline conversion is passive, right? It says that on her info page, she passively converts it back. And so that does mean it is subject to ability accuracy reduction. Luke also stops it. Okay, but 14-year-old me did not fully grasp the intricacies of Westeros politics. No, it is objectively a pretty sweet name.
This is definitely going to start to get tougher. Frank is starting to feel a little bit dangerous just because I don't like getting hit. I think Black Panther over Yelena makes sense, though. Dang it. Come here. Thank you.
Okay, we are stretching Bullseye at this point.
That's about what he has. Still, we had 17 seconds left.
Thank you for the follow.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Sans.
Today I learned Bullseye has slow-mo. That would make Eclipse go and sit in the corner and be very sad. He put a lot of work into that perfect release. Does Wither mess with Nico's power gain from buff immunity? Yes. Yeah, that was also very intentionally left open. It's like there were a couple characters that basically answered everything she did on release. They just weren't Battlegrounds nukes, right? Like Deathless She-Hulk can fully shut her down. Oops. No! I saw that coming. I was like, that's not a heavy. Oh, okay. Sorry for assuming Sans. Oh, there we go. But Eclipse knows I love Frank. There is balance. That's funny. I'd be more disappointed if the mind from which Serpent was born didn't endorse blood magic. That's funny. Good job, Bullseye with Hawkeye. I don't know that my Bullseye or that my Hawkeye does. He'd be 20 full CR below. Chang-Chi's having to work now. I find the parry against him very tricky. There we go. No special 3 thing is a lifesaver. Yeah, we were pretty unified on that. That this mode would be a lot more stressful if you had to bait out specials. I think that was a very good call on Neuro's part. Excuse me. Because you clicked next multiple times. Unfortunately, Samuel.
We thought that we had the bug fixed before towers went out, but apparently it came back. So you only got one key per fight,
but you were spending more than one key.
not on purpose, obviously,
But that's how that worked.
Dang it. Oh, no, you don't, buddy.
No, it is not supposed to happen, and it will. I'm sure we'll send out comp before too long with some extra keys.
But yeah, that's what's going on there.
Thanks for the follow, Nino.
Ah! No!
All right.
That wasn't how I was expecting to lose a fight to Green Goblin. Stupid combat power rate reducing jerk. Which block am I? I think this is the last. No, this must be the second to last fight of what? What am I on? 84? Somewhere in there? I'll let you know in a sec. That was one of my pieces of feedback. That I don't think they had time to action on. That I do wish it was clearer where you were in between fights. Like, I wish this right here had a big white, like, 15 out of 16 block, blah, 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 right here. I mean, it tells me here. Okay, that was 83 then. I know some people who got stuck here. I should be fine.
on the maker. Noted.
Ooh, that's not gonna work. Nope. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize I left Hitmonkey on the sidelines. That was just dumb. Okay. No worries, Tim. People keep saying that. You and I have very different memories of Arena. I don't remember sweating in Arena. I'm not literally, but you get what I mean. Like, I'm working for this. The grind on the way to the real levels is significant. Don't get me wrong, but no evade for you, buddy. Ouch. That hurt. Oh, I've definitely sweated in Arena. But you know what I mean. Take care, Kurt. Have a good weekend, dude. Okay, this is big too.
Oh, I remember hating Bill.
Yep, this is getting dicey. Yeah, let's not discuss any specifics. I get enough stuff spoiled just randomly on the internet because people want clicks. Yeah, no worries. What you said there is fine, Jack. That's just as much for the room as for you. What does it take to be a champ designer? Have some rough ideas for some Spidey buff and Superior Spider-Man update. Um, it's honestly kind of hard to answer. I think like you have to like to be a designer in general, you have to be willing to think in systems and like function, right? Um, I think oftentimes when I see players approach things in the wrong way, what I feel like they get wrong is that a lot of people who play video games tend to approach things from a results perspective. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. ADHD is kicking in, and I'm trying to resist reading the chat or responding to chat until I get this thought out. But a lot of players think in terms of results, like, does this work? Is this strong enough? Is this effective? Like, does this win? And that's not really how you're successful in design, right? It's more about like what gameplay pattern do I want to set up? What do I want to encourage you to do? Why do I think that it is fun to encourage you to do that? How do I communicate it to you? How do I solve this problem from the side instead of head on, right? And so to do that, I think you just have to think critically about games. But when I say critically, I mean like I don't mean that as in criticism, not in the way people normally use it. I mean you have to think critically as in like, why did they do this? And don't let yourself answer until you've really thought about it because they made a bad decision, right? Like so many gamers go, why did they do this? And then it's that meme, right? Are they stupid? The answer is almost never yes. The people who are professionally making games are generally pretty bright across the board. You may not have liked their decisions, but I think if you want to become a game designer, and a champ designer is just a subsection of a game designer, you need to be thinking about things from like, what were they trying to do? Even if I don't necessarily think it worked, even if I think the communication could have been better because I eventually decide I'd like it, but I didn't at first. What were they trying to do? Why did they think that was a good idea? What would it have looked like if it did work? Right? And just try, hey, MP, try and approach everything through that lens, right? Like,
approach MCOC that way, but also approach like Elden Ring or Ghost of Yotei or Assassin's Creed that way, right? Maybe there are some things maybe there are some things where like there are just bad decisions, right? And maybe it was the suits interfering with the designers. Maybe the designers didn't have enough time to fix it because they were pressured to get something out the door, blah 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 blah, whatever. But sometimes there will be things you don't like, but try to ask what is the good in this? What can I take from this that worked and use elsewhere? Um what can I steal, right? Because design is art, and there's like, there's what is that? Is that Stravinsky? I forget who, but somebody said like good artists borrow, great artists steal, right? Whenever you're playing something, think what can I steal from this? What is a good idea in this? Why is it a good idea? What is the simplest possible version of that idea? And add it to your toolbox, right? Like that's part of why I think it's so important to constantly be trying to complement everything around you, because if you're constantly finding what's wrong with everything in the world, well then you can't learn anything from it because everybody else is a moron, right? But if you're constantly trying to find what is the value in what I'm looking at here, what did they do right? What was the good idea here? Then you can take from it and you can use it to improve your own things, right? Yeah, and I think just trying to approach things like that as much as possible is what it takes to be a champ designer. Because there's also like, I do some coding. I have to be able to think in terms of computer code and concepts. I have to understand the game on a very deep level. But at its core, it's really just thinking in systems, right? Because like, I won't say that you have to be excellent at the game. I have some colleagues that I think are phenomenal designers who are, by their own admission, at not as good at the game mechanically, right? I have some colleagues that don't have as deep a knowledge of the meta as I do because they didn't play the game for 8 years before they got hired. They're still excellent designers. And the reason why is that they come at things that way, right? They play other games and they go, what can I steal? How can I make this work in my stuff? How can I take inspiration from this and get inspired? Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get off the soapbox, but I think it's an interesting question, and I'm sorry I didn't have a more like granular answer, but I think you're also hearing like for those of you who don't know, my training is in classical music. I was a professional trombonist before this, and so I approach a lot of this in a very art focused way. Nah, fairy guy, you're very wrong there. If you're struggling with Korg to beat somebody close to Korg CR, then bluntly, you're not playing Korg correctly. Because if you go back through this stream, you will see that I'm just mowing people down with Korg, right? The entire stream until he's punching up 20 CR. He's not nearly as strong at punching up as somebody like Hitmonkey, but I think you're probably not playing him correctly. And so I will try and help you. The way to play Korg correctly is make sure that you are getting to 6 crowd excitement right before you cross 2 bars so that you can throw the special 2 specifically while you're unblockable. Because that gives you the big bleed vulnerability, as well as the 3 bleeds. And then you want to be cycling special 1s while unblockable. I don't think you have time to stack 6 bleeds, but that's how you get the bigger ones. Yeah, I think Bitter answered the pause during the opponent's specials thing. It's not that it would be too busted, it's just that it had consequences on how the game mode felt, and we we made the design decision that it wasn't an overall good thing. Yeah, they're usually on Fridays, Billy. Welcome. Absolutely, Jonathan. I had a I mentioned trombone, but I also studied classical voice as in opera, and one of my early teachers um told me that it takes a lot more intelligence and knowledge to say something nice about somebody else's work than to say something rude. And so like that was something he always did, or had his students do, was like, all right, go to your colleagues' recitals and tell me what they did well. Tell me what they're good at. Like, yes, they were flat on the high note. Congratulations. Everybody's grandmother at church heard that part. But what's their best vowel? What language is their diction best? Right? Like, that's the good stuff. Yeah, I'm sure some of this resonates with you, Easy. You're fantastic at imitating nails on a chalkboard. Yeah, I don't think he would have appreciated that particular response. Yeah, Korg only had a 5 CR advantage there. He's doing okay. What's the trigger for his panic again? Okay, it's just on specials. That's helpful. Special one specifically. Thank you. Sorry, Sim. Oh, I agree, Easy. But what our friend said was that Korg can't even beat somebody at a lower CR. I think he's doing just fine. Stupid. Me, stupid. The first champion I ever created was Absorbing Man.
Thanks. I'm proud of that one. I mean, bluntly, I'm proud of all my characters, but that's okay. You know, as we start getting into the deeper towers, I wonder if there's value with Black Panther to immediately open the fight with a parry heavy, now that the cooldown reduction actually works. Because you probably get it back pretty quick.
Like, obviously, it doesn't make sense when the special 2 kills, but when it doesn't. Yeah, it's pretty silly, Bitter. It's like an inch tall or something. There's a reason I kept telling y'all I thought it was too big. Yeah, there's some big floors, for sure.
Whoops, that was stupid. Oh. That's fine. Thankfully, Zemo has this one.
Boom. That was stupid. I messed up the unblockable Wushu, and then I was like, wait, can I do it into block? No, because it's Kushala. Wait, she doesn't have a blue spell. And by the time those thoughts had all gone through my brain, it was too late. Thankfully, plenty strong for this one. I think Towers is finally giving me the kick in the pants to rank 4 Shang-Chi. Yeah, dude, he's so good for this. 2 special 2s lines up well. Oh, come on. She didn't even hit me? Okay. Obviously, she was already almost dead, but I'm really trying to get better with Frank. I want to be able to trust him in later rooms. I don't feel like I'm good enough with him yet. Get out of here with your physical resistance, buddy. That that is one I'm not underestimating. I'll take it. Ah, that was my fault. Oh, that one wasn't. God, I hate sidesteps. Yeah, big agree, Dilly. Between Spot, Spider-Punk, and Sandman all ascended, who to rank 3? Um, and I'm gonna give my patented it depends. What do you need? This season at least, Sandman is probably the best two-way because he's been pretty annoying on the in the defensive tactic, and he's a solid attacker. I think Spider-Punk is probably the most well-rounded damage dealer among them, and I'm phrasing that very intentionally because I think Sandman is probably the most flexible attacker in terms of utility, and Spot has the best damage output. But I think you have to work harder for Spots, and Sandman peaks later. All three of them have some utility on defense as well as offense. Yeah. What do you need? Do you need healing control? Do you need raw damage? Do you need intercept protection? Do you need immunities? They're all good. I gotta stop running into his heavy. What is tower rating? You just get 1 floor or 1 point for every floor that you clear. Thanks, KG. Honestly, I don't know the point breakdown with the Saga one. But I know for class it's just 1 point per floor. Thanks for the follow. I don't know. Let's go look at our rankings. Okay, these resources are really starting to get real. Oof. Okay. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Because like I haven't done any of the Saga Tower yet. I haven't actually played the mutant one. This might be my limit. No, I mean recoil isn't mandatory, but once you get up there, if you want to be higher on the leaderboards, it's pretty helpful. Haven't even started towers. You got plenty of time. How far in towers? Apparently I'm on block 86 in skill. I have not done mutant at all yet. Okay, I'm going to test that theory. Because this should come back pretty quick. I need to get better at pairing her special one here. Better. Yeah, I think for min-maxing and parry heavy at the start might be the way to go. No, we're staggering the release of the class towers, but they're all permanent content. Oh yeah, Dilly, you have to get the refresh. That makes sense. I'm glad that helped them. I guess he is turning off my stuff. That's unfortunate. All right, come here. Dang it. Yeah, if he turns off my stuff, I'm not sure that this is going to be worth it. I may swap those two real quick. With towers, I've learned how much I don't know how to play a lot of these characters. That is a very fair response and probably pretty common. Did Taskmaster turn off Bullseye's evade that can't be turned off? What the heck happened in that fight? Alright, this one should be fine. That was so evil of her. One hit into miss, special 2-2 face. Current exploit weakness cannot be evaded. Ah, I forgot about that. Thank you. Okay, that's why Lumitrix was having trouble. I forgot he had that invisible pursuit in there. Thanks, Bitter. I have trouble keeping track of Taskmaster's kit between all of the synergies and everything. I should have just switched the combo into block there and remembered.
that I had the evade. It's okay. Stuck at block 84. Yeah, I mean, they're getting big in here. I had to work a bit for 84. Oh, fur. I didn't throw that into block.
Yeah. Agreed, Hogan. Like, I totally understand the grind complaints. I do. But we had to, I've said this before. I think it was important that we aired on the grindy side for this because that means that less skilled and newer players won't skip too far and have a bad time. And I feel like once you get past the part where it's pure grind, I actually do quite like the progression. It could be faster, but I feel like if you're paying attention, you really start getting a feel for which attackers do which things. Yeah, I did have to retry one of those Bahamadir, excuse me. Missed a syllable. Yeah, exactly. I don't think Finn has much time lately for excuse me. For doing YouTube, and I know he's been playing a bit less, but he was hired. Depends on what definition of dev you use. He's doing QA for us, and that has been public for a while, yeah. He's maintaining a better sleep schedule these days, so I'm chatting a bit less with him, but I think he's doing well. Hey, Madrox. Nah, should have been a medium. Take care, Hogan. Woohoo! That hurt. Taskmaster's a weird one. Because I would really love to jettison the permanent debuff immunity into the sun. And his concussions are really problematic. Taskmaster is maybe the single best illustration of why just tune him up, bro, doesn't work. Because if you just made Taskmaster easier to play and have better uptime on abilities, he would be so dumb. No, you don't, Dilly. You think you like dumb. You enjoy dumb in the moment because you're not the person having to build counters to dumb that then other people tell you are dumb because why did you make this hard? Because things were dumb. Ouch. Jeez.
No, Finn isn't doing design work, like I said. And I don't mean that as a shot at him. But it would be difficult with his time zone to really get into the same meetings with the rest of us. Oh, I think I should have used 2 special ones. Okay, that was fine. Welcome, Jake. The fact that I've now done 4 hours of tower streams and I'm not done. And I don't mean that as a shot at the mode, it's just there is a lot to do here. That's okay. I like having things to stream. $10? Yeah. There's a fair bit. I should probably be happy with how quick this is going then. Because I'm probably pretty close to my limit. I will probably also just stop soon, at least in skill. Just so I don't run out of keys, because if I just do something stupid and die in the mutant tower, I don't want to be completely blocked on progress until next week. Hey, Jesus. Yeah, like I do want to try and min-max and really push my limits in these, but I've got time. Meh. Okay. And don't want to get in my own way. Yeah, I don't think I'm passing this anyway. Oh, that is big. I'm gonna load this up, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. So let's see. don't think I can do this. Because I'd have to punch up 35 full CR for the other fights. Like one more rank 5 and then one more ascended skill champion, I'm good to go, right? Or if I ascend Black Panther and Zemo, I think I'm good to go. But yeah, I don't think I'm passing this one. How much CR rating difference can we deal damage? As far as I know, the actual cutoff where you can't do any damage at all is minus 50 CR. However, you can time out long before that, depending on how things are going. And punching up 20, 25 CR, some characters can punch up a full 30 CR with recoil. But the reason I'm not planning on trying this right now is that punching up 35 or more is pretty tough. Nice. I didn't realize there were more of those in there. Okay. Cool. Yeah, and we still have a very, very long way to go in the mutant one. Okay. Yeah, I think recoils are going to be good for all the towers. Recoils will probably be worst specifically on the science and cosmic towers because those are the classes with the most attack increases in their kits to dilute it. But those classes have a lot of damage dealers, so I think they'll be okay. If you get to a certain block in a class tower, because those are permanent towers, you stay there permanently. The Saga one does have a time limit, but yeah. Okay, let's assume that I can maintain top 1,000. I might not be able to, but cool. The difference between 1% and 1,500 is pretty darn nice. I'm gonna see what I can do. Full nuke, no defense build. I mean, if you never get hit, then like sure, absolutely go ham on your masteries, but I don't know that I would go full defense. Like I wouldn't take points out of block proficiency, right? I wouldn't drop recoil. Because I think to get the absolute best, to get the absolute best tempo, which is important for finishing these fights on time, you need to be able to block bait, I think. And so you need enough sustain to hold on to that. Is it possible to get both bundles? Yeah, it's possible, but it's not easy. To get both, I think you need to have spent a fair amount on daily deals or weekly deals or both. Leaderboards will give you passive radiance if you do towers. I think
you still need to log in and play towers to qualify for ranked rewards. So it's not like we'll be paying out the radiance to people who haven't played in 6 months or something. But this big grind that you're doing now will have quite a bit of value, yes. Yeah, I imagine that you will be getting a lot more radiance from towers than you do from other modes, Cat. I'm just running a pretty standard recoil build. I can show in a second, but it's just max liquid courage, max double edge, 1 point in recoil. I think it's only 1 point in glass cannon. And then like standard defense. I think this is only 1 point in willpower. It might be 3. 3 points in petrify, no points in pacify, no assassin. This build does have MD, although obviously that's not necessary for these towers. The Ascension is much, much more valuable than the Awakening Ghost. Maybe you don't have an Awakening Gem right now, but those are much more available. Finally got enough resources for my first rank 5. Any suggestions between Null, Onslaught, Spider-Woman, Serpent Jean, Carolina, Kushala? But you got 3 of my characters in there. So I'll throw a vote to Serpent, Jean, and Kushala. But that's a very good list. You can't really go wrong. Hmm. It's an interesting thought, but I don't know that I agree. Champions scale a bit more with level than relics tend to. Where'd this go? Oh, there it is. Weird. I think out of the list you gave, I will say my first rank 5 of those will probably be Jean. I think she's the next mutant that I take up. I think I had seen that, Globbed. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Okay, do I have anything? I didn't know that, but I'm guessing that that's what the Oh, cool, there's a 7-star in here. That's what the Saga or the Challenge Tower archive is for, right? I think the Saga one will be moved into there. So it won't be the active one, but it'll still be accessible. That would make sense to me. Cool. 7-star shards are coming along. Let's take a look at what our actual catalysts look like. All right, so we are up to 3 tier 7 basic. That's very cool. No tier 5 alpha. So many tier 4 alpha right now. Okay, that means I probably need to rank 4 someone. Where I'm currently at in the skill tower, I don't really benefit from a rank 4, I don't think. Although Okoye is dumb enough that she might punch up better. I think I'm still waiting on an ascension there, so I'm not in a rush. I probably shouldn't bother with anybody here either. Although I'm guessing that's why Sim took Deadpool up, because he was ascended, because I'm suddenly feeling tempted as well. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait and see how the other towers shape up, because that feels like the smart thing to do. But, oh boy, we're gonna have a lot of resources going into J4. What was my team for incursions? What did I do? I think Blue Marvel, Patriot, and somebody. Paviter? White Tiger? I don't remember. Anywho, I can feel myself slowing down, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call it tonight. But I'll be back at least a little bit over the weekend, probably some tomorrow. I think I'm probably going to take a light day because of the holiday. But yeah, thank you, everybody. This is good. As usual, this is where I close down